Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be a channel divine masculine energy reading. I kept seeing the number 29, 29, 29 keeps popping up everywhere. So I kind of went into meditation to channel the energies. 29 also does break down to 11. 29 is a very karmic number. 29 is the rounding of completion when it comes to astrology as well. And so, as we all know, tomorrow is the 1111 portal. It is also known as Remembrance Day here when it comes to those who have battled in World War I and II. And so I feel we're entering this gateway portal of perseverance. Hello, Kitty. And so finding the energy is what I want to say to persevere despite any challenging circumstances. So I just want to say the energy is feeling very dismal, almost like this abyss energy. And so I think we're at this place where the divine masculine is in the deep within the deep. And so what I kept hearing was Rolling in the Deep by Adele. And so I do feel a lot of desperate difficulties have been coming up in the divine masculine's life. That's what I journaled about. And so all of these lies I feel are coming to the surface, and the lack of commitment in the process of the journey I feel. And so I do feel a lot of the feminines are feeling defeated after all of the healing that we've done, and feeling like nothing ever seems to change. And so I feel right now the energy is kind of presenting the masculine choice whether to experience this divine union or not. And so a lot of struggle is necessary, I feel, to overcome the karmic energy. And so I do feel this energy of spiritual warfare surrounding the masculine. I feel a lot of the feminines did reach a place of peace, and I feel now it feels like we're just generally feeling defeated in the energies. And so I do feel a lot of the feminines really did leave that impressionable mark on the divine masculine, and I do feel it is the feminine's light that the masculine is looking towards in these times of struggle, preparing to make a return. But I feel all of these outer conditions surrounding the divine masculine are making that very extremely difficult at the time being. And so there's this level of hesitation when it comes to the masculine making a commitment towards the feminine. And this is all based on these past life experiences. And so I feel with Mars in retrograde, it is creating this reassessment. And so I do feel tempering. And so whatever the masculine is built, I don't feel it is sustainable at this time. And they are being encouraged to say yes, but this tendency of being overcautious really is kind of adding to the disharmony rather than ending it in the masculine's life. And so there's this caution in the masculine saying yes to the feminine. And I feel all of this disharmony is leading to this reevaluation energy. And so it's up to the masculine to choose to experience himself and his authenticity or not. And a lot of these masculines have played into these lower lustful urges, and it really has cost them this level of inaction when it comes to the knowledge that has been gained. And so I feel the masculine feels like it's better to just run away than to fight for this connection. And so I feel this withdrawing energy, and a lot of these masculines really have, skewed their principles with little regard for the cosmic law of cause and effect. And so it's feeling very, very dismal is what I wanted to talk about. And so I do feel this lack of directness when it comes to addressing the lack of closure. And I feel the masculine is kind of being forced at this point in time to face things head on. And that is the shortest distance between the two counterparts, right? Is this straight line, this straight shooting line. And so as the feminine uses their spiritual wisdom to simplify their life, to solve all of these difficulties, a lot of the feminines have found their inner strength and their inner power to commit to ourselves, to commit to this journey of healing. And we have approached this process very much directly. And so I do feel the masculines that played into all of these status quo aesthetics, they've been very crude and cruel in their lack of directness. And I do feel right now a lot of the masculines are lashing out and offending a lot of people around them. It's like this overreaching, this lack of acceptance. And I feel a lot of the masculines at this point in time really have bit off more than they can chew. And so I do feel the feminine is being exalted from the contracts as we keep our drive and our ambition to keep moving forward for the collective. And I feel all of this uncontrollable failure surrounding the masculine. And I do feel a lot of them have overextended their financial resources and they're reaching a place of failure at this point in time. I do feel there's a lot of confusion when it comes to saying yes to this new cycle or not. And I do feel a lot is being stripped out of the masculine when it comes to this momentum. And I do feel existential crisis. It's like the masculine is driving blind with all of this Mars energy in retrograde. And so I feel like everything surrounding the masculine is making no sense at this point in time. Kitty, you're just driving me crazy. She's just all lovey-dovey. And so all of this confusion is making the masculine withdraw rather than accept responsibility for the conditions that he's created. And so all of this confusion is creating overcaution. And so I do feel a lot of dualistic expansion. I was taken to like the realm of Jupiter. And so I feel the answer is always yes when it comes to these higher commitments, but the masculine is afraid, I think, to embrace something new. They're afraid to embrace something new when it comes to these cycles. And I do feel a lot of new discoveries have been made recently. I do feel a lot of the masculines have been shown, or somebody that they're connected with that is also connected to the feminine have basically exposed that the divine feminine has met somebody new. And so I do feel this really is weighing heavy on the masculine's heart at this point in time. And I do feel they are being asked to correct the karmic commitment, to come forward and support the divine feminine with a level of emotional maturation in order to reach their fullest potential as to who they truly could be in a healthy reciprocal relationship with another and their contribution to the world for humanity. And so I do feel this gateway portal is asking the masculine to say yes, and to be ready to commit their energy to what is best for the collective, and to become quite clear with what it is that is truly right for them and what they are being asked to invest their time, their efforts, and their energy in. And so a lot of these masculines went towards a lustful sacral response, a mechanical response is kind of what I want to say. And I feel that adventure that they went on was very single-minded. It was very selfish, and it's created all of these difficult, challenging circumstances now that are kind of rearing its ugly head as the feminine fully aligns with her decision to choose herself, is what I'm feeling. And so the masculine is being asked to release all expectations and to stop relying on everybody else's opinion to guide them to a correct experience, because it really hasn't worked for them in the past. And I feel, Kitty, you're going to drive me crazy. And so they're like clinging to the past desperately as this rebirth by fire kind of submerses them in these feelings, and they are being asked to surrender to divine will and divine fate at this time, and to recognize that freedom of these limitations is going to only be reached when they accept this fate, and they break free from this illusion. And so I do feel there's been a recent realization when it comes to these emotions and the lies. A lot of them are in this fine line between hope and pain. I was shown God had Kali coming through, and so Kali is the great destroyer. And so I feel as the feminine balances her state of composure, the masculine is facing all kinds of discord and disorder in his life. And so it's maximizing all of these limitations is what I'm feeling. And there's a lot of instability when it comes to their feelings, whatever situation they are entangled in. And not every divine masculine is entangled with a karmic person. It could be an addiction, or, you know, their job could be a third party interference. And so the masculine is really having a hard time maintaining his exposure. And I feel he's having a hard time balancing his feelings as he's unable to let go of the love of the feminine on his heart. And so there's a fine balance between the extremities that he's facing at this point in time. And he's being asked to apply his energy without playing into this wasteland with the karmic energy. And so he's wasted his precious energy on these lustful feelings. And I do feel he's becoming very over-aggressive, trying to, you know, fight against these dogmas and these limitations. And these feelings are demanding the masculine dispel these emotions and this energy, and to face resignation or resigning from the false contracts, and just getting to a place of accepting of what is, right? And so I do feel a lot of the feminines are coming into this awareness of their manifestations coming forward as we've kind of embraced this law of regeneration, rebirth. And so I do feel the laws of karma are kind of playing out with this portal, especially when it comes to all of our past incarnations. And what I kept being shown is like the resurrection of Christ, which would be like the resurrection of the divine masculine and Christ consciousness, and this feeling to accept what is. And so I feel a lot of the feminines are feeling very heavy, feeling the masculine go through this resurrection phase. And a lot of these masculines have this spiritual tendency. They're very knowledgeable. They are very spiritually knowledgeable. And so I feel they've avoided this despair for a very long time. And so I feel a spiraling of positive and the negative emotions. And I do feel a lot of the masculines are reaching this this boiling point of burnout. I know I felt very burnt out yesterday afternoon, mid-afternoon. I had to go and lay down, and I just kind of had to lay there and meditate and clear the energy. I didn't even really have the energy to get up out of bed to go pick up my kids from school. And so a lot of these masculines have kept up this unrealistic pace. And I feel now they're reaching a place of misfortune. It's like this begging energy, this going to your knees, this begging energy for mercy, mercy. And so all of these obsessive compulsive tendencies that the masculine has been carrying are leading to burnout. And this is necessary for the masculine to arrive at this breaking point. And so I do feel a positive outcome is happening, and the masculine is being assisted with these cosmic energies. I feel this over-analysis paralysis. It's this highly energized cosmic emotional collapse is what I'm feeling. An emotional collapse during this uncontrollable expansion, right? And so it's this inevitable bursting of the karmic bubble, bursting of the bubble as all of these uncontrollable feelings surface. And I do feel a lot of the masculines are having emotional outbursts as all of these triggers kind of surface. And this is to get them to recognize that higher contract of dedication to the divine feminine. And so I do feel it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back for the masculine at this point in time. And all of these new feelings emerging are bringing back all of these old feelings of the feminine that the masculine has been repressing. And so I do feel a lot of underlying anger. And what I want to say is, oh, the irony, right? Oh, the irony as the masculine faces all of these limitations and has to deal with all of these underlying frustrations because he has to eliminate all of the karmic energy in order to complete this entire transformation process. And so frustration, anger, all of these old feelings are being brought into the divine masculine's awareness at this point in time. And it's like this cosmic enforcement taking over when it comes to the masculine taking that right action, doing what is right. And so this huge purge. A lot of the masculines, I feel, at this point in time are feeling very much inferior to the divine feminine. And they're feeling very weakened by the karmic energy. And they can't embrace the energy of strength until they eliminate and disperse all of these negative emotions below the surface. And so below the surface, though, is this reestablishing of this peacefulness. But they cannot keep abiding to all of these exterior forces, right? These people-pleasing energies. And so I feel the masculine is being taught a very hefty life lesson right now. Life is never what we expect it to be, right? And so I do feel the masculine has allowed his life to spiral into this pattern once again. And if we are to conceive these new experiences, the masculine does have to meet the very highs and the very lows of these emotional waves that the feminine had to experience during the beginning of her ascension and awakening journey. And so right now we have lived two very completely different lives for many of us for several years. And a lot of these karmic influences have led the masculine down this path of dissatisfaction and feeling very much unfulfilled. And so right now, the masculine has no control over these energies, and the only control he really has is over the clarity that is being shown to him and the choice to enter into this new unconditional loving experience with the divine feminine. He does not have a choice when it comes to the overall outcome of everything that is playing out in the energies. And so I do feel this deep desire for the feminine and feeling like life isn't going to be worth living without the feminine. And so I think right now everything's become this very wild, emotional roller coaster ride that the masculine is experiencing. And all of these illusions are being shattered when he really does see the true freedom that lies in going towards the feminine and the fulfillment of that wildest dream to be with her. And so I do feel this unreciprocated desire towards the feminine is not to be taken personally by you, divine feminine, okay? I feel a lot of the masculines are trying to find balance in their life, and the only way they're going to reach a state of balance is through the process of surrender. And so through accepting what they've created, what is, and by taking personal accountability of the limitations that they have created, of this larger karmic pattern in their life that keeps spiraling and repeating. And so right now I feel the only reflection in the masculine's mind is the feminine, and this feeling of desiring her deeply needs to be shared with the feminine is what I'm feeling. So let's jump in with some cards. I was in a really funny mood, so I think I'm going to pull with the Rebel deck. I haven't used this one in a while in a Divine Masculine reading. And we're going to pull in with the Love Oracles because I just feel the energy is feeling very karmic in nature. And so the Rebel deck, I just want to say this is where the feminine is at. You know, the Divine Masculine, they broke your heart. And I think a lot of the feminines are in this place of fuck them. And so I do feel the masculine is trying to get into his heart and to get the heck out of his head at this point in time. And the feminines are just reaching a breaking point of like, screw this whole journey is kind of what I'm feeling. And so, and I talked to a few divine feminines and we're kind of all sitting in that same energy. So let's pull with the Rebel deck. It is the Oracle deck with an attitude, and that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like I got a little bit of a attitude today towards the journey. And so let's see what energies need to come through with this deck first. So, Okay, so I do feel a lot of the masculines are lacking sleep in their life. We get the card, get some fucking sleep. And if you don't like the vulgar language, feel free to click off. I'm never ever offended by vulgar language. And so right now, the masculine really is being a huge asshole, is what I want to say. And they're tired. They're not sleeping well. I do think a lot of them need to go through a detox. I do feel a lot of them need to throw people out of their lives. They need to unfriend that karmic. They need to throw out people, places, and things, and especially any addictions. And we do have, you think someone is lying. They are. And so I think the karmic really is throwing the masculine for a loop. They're lying to them. The masculine is falling for these lies, this deception over and over again. They think the karmic's lying. They know that they are, but yet they keep falling for this manipulative behavior. And so another thing too is a lot of these masculines are tight asses, right? They don't like to give. They like to hoard. They're like uptight control freaks. I don't think they're getting laid. I don't think they're getting any sexual satisfaction in the karmic contract anymore. And they really need to loosen up. And so, and then we got, you are the best thing to ever happen to you. I feel the feminine was the best thing to ever happen to the divine masculine. And they really are kicking themselves in the ass right now is what I'm feeling. And so I want to say don't give up. And so top of the deck, we got, you are going through some shit right now. And I do feel everyone has their turn at facing this karmic repercussion from the past life timelines. And I want to say, welcome to your turn, divine masculine. It is your turn to have to handle shit on your own and pick yourself up from rock bottom like the divine feminine had to. And I also feel, you know, they're just being super shady. And I think things are starting to get really, really ugly in the masculine's world at this point in time. So we're going to see what needs to come through with the Love Oracle deck. We'll see what else. Like zero filter, zero fucks given is kind of where I'm at on the journey today. And so they are still dealing with that girl, that snake, the karmic snake. And I thought I saw something flip. So just let me go through the deck. Yeah, I did see something flip. And so I feel they've definitely been stabbed by the karmic snake. They're dealing with a female narcissist. And all of that is to reflect their own narcissism within. And so they've been charmed. They've been used. They don't know how to enable boundaries. And I feel this brute force bring forward this truth, this revelation in order for the masculine to see things through the eyes of clarity. And then we get the mirror. And so I do feel a lot of mirroring energy with the snake. I feel there's a lot of self-image issues. And that girl with the snake, the karmic snake, has been reflecting all of these wounds towards the masculine. And so I also feel below the scenes, the masculine wants to take a chance and take a risk towards the feminine. And they've been strategically planning and plotting. They're also weighing out all kinds of options, I feel. And they're really not really showing their hand of cards to anybody. I feel a lot of the masculines might even be struggling with a gambling addiction at this point in time. And I feel they see the feminine as abundant. And I do feel the feminine is about to manifest exactly what it is that she's prayed for as she kind of embraces gratitude. But I feel stability. I feel the masculine stability and security is being stripped from him until he decides to do the right thing with the divine feminine. So let's pull in with some past life lessons. And so the masculine, I feel, is facing some karmic punishment. They are being publicly ridiculed. They're having to face the actions and the consequences, or the consequences of their past actions. They wrongfully laughed at the feminine. You know, they slandered the feminine, and now they're in this karmic imprisonment coming to terms with their higher purpose at this point in time is what I'm feeling. So they've really, really messed things up is what I want to say on the journey. So we'll see what else needs to come through. I do feel they are going through a bunch of casual relationships at this time. Or, you know, that's something that they're struggling with. I feel a lot of these masculines play into the unhealthy habits of, you know, having multiple casual relationships. They're going through a very unconventional period right now is what I'm feeling. And a lot of them did enjoy multiple casual relationships while they were courting the divine feminine. And so right now I feel it is this time of reflecting on how they spent their time when they had the opportunity to care and love and honor the divine feminine. And so this is a very heavy burden. I also feel they're struggling with integrating their own inner masculine and feminine right now, and the fact that they did not come forward as that true father, as that true masculine emperor, as that provider and that protector of the divine feminine and that family structure. And so they're looking at the feminine who really has built a solid foundation for her profession and her life, and all of these amazing creative talents that the feminine possesses. And I feel they're going deep into some ancient Egyptian origins at this time in order to release these family burdens. So I feel a huge change of course. The masculine cannot heal these patterns without recognizing these patterns, and he's deep within healing these past life familial wounds in order to heal the collective for these future generations. And so I do feel they're looking at the feminine as this healer. They're feeling very misunderstood. They've been hiding this secret deep inside for a very long time, and I feel they've been trying to protect their heart. And I do feel a hard-earned life lesson is coming through with this portal energy. So let's see what needs to come through with the Illumination Oracle deck. And I know this is like divine timing card, patience, embrace change. And so I do feel this is a pivot point where the masculine is being asked to embrace these changes once and for all. So let's see what else needs to come through. There's that karmic attachment. So I do feel they still have some energy cords to sever with the karmic attachment before they can seize this opportunity with the feminine. And I do feel they will be embracing that loss, that ending, and relocating and moving. And they're going to have to before they can seize this opportunity with the feminine. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are very much disconnected from their body right now. They are still in the energy of withholding communication, withholding love, and I feel they are in deep need of some compassion at the moment. I feel a lot of struggles, So we'll just get one more Oracle deck message. So there's that conflict, divinely ordained conflicting energies, and so there's going to be an event or a shakeup, a major conflict to break free from that false structure, and this is divinely guided by spirit. So we'll just get 3 cards with the Quantum Energy Oracle deck. And then we're going to pull in with some tarot to kind of see where the masculine is currently sitting at in these energies. But look at commitment. So there's going to be an event or a shakeup to redirect the masculine towards the honoring path. And so the honoring path is about coming from a place of pure intentions, heartfelt intentions, integrity, and they've not really been coming from that place. And then we get the kindred partnership. So there could be a higher union taking place, but the masculine is deathly afraid of coming forward and facing the feminine. And I feel rediscovering something in the karmic contract, peeling back those layers. And there's fear. There's fear of rejection. I do feel the masculine's been taking into the Akashic field, into the Akashic records, to be shown this higher soul contract of commitment with the feminine and the honoring path. And so this is like that Ace of Cups. We are kindred soulmates. And the denial of this connection, I feel, has gone on for long enough. And so there's going to be a shift in energy. I'm going to read into the book with the fear, because I do feel overwhelming fear coming up for the masculine. It is a 5. It is a very, very intense energies, to say the least. And I did call this in the forecast, that this was going to be probably the most intense week of the year. And so I feel a lot of fragmented energy. They're going to have to release worry and choose to trust in the process, right? And so fear. So if you look at the card, it's a frightened woman, although it's not. Actually, I took Bailey to PetSmart earlier to get some clippers and some chew toys and stuff for Bailey, and actually drove by a construction truck from the company that my Divine Masculine works at, and wasn't him in the truck, but I felt like my heart was going to jump right out of my chest. It just like heart palpitations, very fast heart palpitations, and I went into this energy of soul shock. It took me about a half hour to clear the shakes almost. And so I do feel a lot of the feminine's fear that the masculine's going to just drop back in and take away all of the peace and safety that she's secured in her home. And so I feel a lot of the masculines have this fearful attitude that has overtaken them lately when it comes to breaking free from the karmic contract and all of these anxiety-filled thoughts. And so I feel as the feminine expands peace in her life, these difficulties are like all over the masculines. It's like the feminines finally reached a place of settling down, finding a place of balance, and reaching a place of resolution. And I feel the masculine is dealing with a very irritating karmic person at this time, needing to move off from them. And so somebody, I feel, has consumed the masculine. This really is consuming the masculine's everyday life. It's very problematic. I feel this worry is making them feel sick, like they're losing their power completely. And only the masculine has the power to choose this whole situation around. They have to choose to be self-directed and to break free from this self-imposed prison that they've created for their life. And so I think they're looking around and they see the feminine's beauty, the feminine's peace, and they're surrounded by all of these negative patterns that they're just not willing to release and let go. And so I do feel they're going to have to honor their inner soul strength and release this worry if they are to expand in their lives. And so we're going to look at the commitment energy too, because this is a major event and a shakeup, if I can find it. And then we're going to pull in with the tarot. So I do feel there's some type of breakup or commitment that the masculine knows he needs to release if they are to get to a place of love with the feminine. And I think, they had a lot of high hopes for that karmic relationship. And I feel all of these delays are really completely draining the divine masculine. And so he's being asked to dissolve that karmic contract. He might even have to be forced to leave a job. He might have to break a lease, and that might cost him financially, or sell a house, or there might be something falling through with the selling of a house. I think everything is really taking longer than expected in the masculine's life, and I think he's really been in a losing legal battle, and he's been fighting with that karmic connection, and all it's doing is creating more delays and challenges. And so I do feel, he's got no high emotional quality in his life at this point in time, and he's going to have to deal with his dishonesty towards himself and with others. And so he made a promise to the divine feminine of genuine love, and I do feel he has to commit to himself, though, if he is to come forward and commit to the feminine. And so I do feel this huge investigation kind of taking place as he signs this higher contract. And so these twin soul unions, these marriages have already been agreed to and solidified in these higher cosmic contracts. And so I do feel this signifies a time of the masculine getting to a place of integrity, which he surely has lacked. And so that's where I feel a lot of the feminines are just feeling utterly defeated and disappointed in the energies. So, you know, I feel this self-dismissal and this dismissal of the divine feminine is saying it's time to break the cycle. It's time to get back in control. So let's jump in with the tarot and see what else needs to come through for the divine masculine. Yeah, so huge loss of fortune, big loss. And then we get the confusion, the illusion, disillusionment, and that's like a big loss, right? A big loss. So we're going to see what the current energy is for the divine masculine. We get the 10 of coins and the emperor. Wow. So that would indicate the masculine taking charge of that situation. A change in legacies. 10s are endings. And so I do feel though, oh wow, we just got the Empress landed right on the fear card. And there's that fear, right? And so the masculine really has no faith right now when it comes to balancing these karmic scales with the feminine. I do feel he feels like he's lost her. The feminine is about to reap a harvest, but we do have a true pair come out on the board, both of them upright today. And so that is indicating a union of some sort. And so the masculine's main concern, I feel, recently has just been building his finances. And I do feel a need to come back in and balance these scales. There's been this lack of communication, this lack of faith. And I also feel the feminine has finally released any expectations of these unions. So we get the 10 of Wands. So we got a couple of 10s. We are completing these cycles. And so it is that coming to Jesus moment, that conscious release. And so I do feel the masculine is being taken to his knees. He is being taken to his knees, and he is being taken to this truth. So with the 10s, we do get to the ace, right? And so this palace of cosmic creative energy surrounding him, and that's what's below the surface, is this disillusionment, this confusion. And I think this has to do a lot with Mercury and Scorpio and the truth, right? And so I feel the masculine is having a very difficult time staying grounded in the energies, going through this confusion, coming into all of this cosmic truth. And there's that power struggle, right? And so I do feel fighting with the karmic. There is something dying away, this death energy coming through Scorpio. And so allowing this internal struggle to die away. So we're going to just look a little bit deeper into that. So major shift in perspective, which will likely lead to an unexpected arrival. So I do feel amidst all of these challenges, there's going to be a huge release of the false contracts. And I do want to remember, we saw the Ace of Coins, so the 10 does bring it to the 1. So I feel as much as he's tried to build up his finances, he's likely losing it all in the energies. And there's that stress, that anxiety of needing to walk away from the karmic contract in order to embrace this ascension journey. And so that is the spiritual journey. And I feel he is choosing to unblock his heart at this point in time and walk away from everything that's not serving him. But there is overwhelming fear. And I feel nightmares as all of these past life memories surface as to, you know, how awful the counterpart has treated the feminine. And so I do feel that snake energy really has tried to create all kinds of conflicting, challenging energies around the masculine to prevent him from going towards the feminine. And I feel it's been going on for so long. For me, it's been about like 4 years or so. And so I do feel the masculine feels like it is a hopeless situation at this time to return to the feminine. So let's just get a couple last cards with the crystal stone deck to see what else might need to come through with the masculine's energy. And so right now we get the find your tranquil place. So a lot of ancient wisdom. I feel this energy of judgment. He is receiving all kinds of unsolicited bullshit from all of these karmic judgmental people, and he is extra vulnerable at this time. And this is at the finger of Saturn. Saturn is bringing forward all of these resentments. A lot of the masculines have resentment towards the feminine because of how well she is doing. And I do feel a lot of the karmics are holding something against the masculine to prevent him from coming forward. And so I feel the masculine is going to have to deal with all of this. I feel that this enchanted energy around the feminine really has brought forward this skepticism. I feel the skepticism and the cynicism are clearing when it comes to the spiritual path. I feel the masculine feels like his whole entire life is like a moving target right now. And he is very much hurting because he has dishonored the person he loves the most, which is the divine feminine. And so all of these energies are amplifying that. And so I feel he's dealing with like a psycho at this point in time, a psycho. And all of that is being, you know, illuminated of this psycho, this victim, vampire energy surrounding him. And so a clear view, and I feel the karmic's really trying to kick the masculine down to gutter level. And I feel a lot of them likely do belong there for all of the deception. And so I kind of feel the warmth of the feminine is the only thing keeping the masculine going. It's like he's getting caught in this web of lies. And I do feel he's likely gearing up for a long, dark winter or dark night of the soul to transmute all of these universal, metaphysical, cosmic energies being activated. And that's kind of what I got for a checkup. I hope this helped, guys. I hope this resonated. If you'd like to book a personal or a soulmate reading, check out the description box below. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.